Hi, I'm Dawn Tangaturi. Today we'll talk about symbolism, ceremonies, and sages. What can you learn from other religions to inspire your oneness meditation? Many ask, what can I possibly learn from other religions that will help me in my meditation, my prayer, my devotional life? The answer to that question could take a lifetime because there is such a vast treasure of knowledge and experience in all religions of the world on this matter. So where is a practical place to start? So this is the Voice and Wisdom podcast on oneness, and today we will go together on this journey to learn from multiple religions very beautiful and interesting methods for initiation of meditation that will help you and I in practical ways, even though they are ancient. We will learn today about 3 such categories, all lesser known, to inspire your meditation from various religions of the world. First, it is important to point out that these methods will help you initiate meditation, but the ongoing maintenance of meditation is another matter altogether. But the initiation of it helps you get past that barrier of, I don't know where to start, so I just won't start. These methods are practical and have endured the test of centuries of time. Now, on to our second method for inspiring your meditation and prayer, and that is with ceremony, specifically today, the tea ceremony. Zen Buddhists in China used tea to help them stay alert during the long hours of meditation. And in the 1500s, a man named Sen no Rikyū, a Japanese Zen Buddhist, learned the way of tea. He then elevated the practice and codified it and added the Japanese aesthetic to what we see today. The rituals are done in a certain order to emphasize tranquility as per Zen Buddhism philosophy. This gentleman, Sen no Rikyū, had followers, 7 of them, 3 of which were Christian, and they perpetuated this practice, this tea ceremony. It emphasizes 4 qualities to be exemplified in a person that is participating, and those are harmony, respect, purity, and tranquility. The tea houses are small, almost like a hermit house, and they can accommodate maybe up to 5 people. They have 2 entrances, the one for the guest being very low so that the guest has to bend down to enter, thereby humbling themselves in preparation for the tea ceremony. The general program of the ceremony starts with purification by way of a basin in the garden outside the tea house called a Tsukubai, or a stooping basin, because you had to bow down to use it, symbolizing an act of humility. This is the influence of Shintoism, the pursuit of purity and respect for the sacred. The letters on the basin, as carved, are meaningless by themselves. But this sort of serves as a play on words, meaning if this square shape in the center were included in the formation of these characters, then the phrase altogether would say, I learn only to be contented. It served as a reminder to the guest to be contented apart from material possessions or rank. What you see here is a miniature replica of a Japanese tea house. This ceremonial practice is an excellent way to teach your children about other religions and about oneness, which children easily understand. Kids love to paint miniatures. That's all this is. They aren't so miniature, of course, to them. I had no idea of the realm of miniatures. This has been a lot of fun for me. Please pardon my childlike painting job. We will call it rustic. First, you see our cast of characters. We have Samurai Guy, who is the one today who will be the primary guest for the tea ceremony. Then we have relaxed Samurai Guy. And here we have, we'll just call her scary Japanese tea lady. First, the guest will enter through this low door. They have to humble themselves to enter into this door. Even a samurai soldier is going to have to remove all of his armor and his sword. What I would say the sword represents for us is our personal opinion. So all are removed and he bows down in order to enter into the tea house. We have to remove all our armor, even our personal opinion. After Samurai Guy has removed all of his armor and his sword of his personal opinion and humbled himself to fit through this door, Once inside, all people are the same. He bows down when he enters the house. He bows down to the scroll of spiritual writings on the wall out of respect. He bows to the host, the scary tea lady. He bows to the tea, and he bows to the sweets, all that has been offered him. In this process, the guest becomes mindful of spirituality, and he has left the concerns of the world outside detached and mindfully resting in his faith. The host then begins the process of serving the tea. First, there are the sweets that are offered. The guest bows to the plate of sweets and selects one which is eaten before the matcha tea is served. You eat the sweet first since it makes the slight bitterness of the matcha tea easier to ingest. First, the matcha is sifted, much like we are in life, by way of hard things in life, and then agitated by the bamboo stirrer. Again, don't you feel like you've been treated thus in life? The guest then drinks the tea mindfully, reflecting on all that is quiet and sacred and tranquil. These ceremonies can last a few minutes or a few hours. After completion of the enjoyment, the guest exits, puts back on their worldly responsibilities, feeling refreshed and rejuvenated, and goes on their way in joy. Sen no Rikyū said, "You should know that Japanese tea ceremony is just to boil hot water, make tea, and drink it. The point is to have joy in the opportunity of this ceremony, whether alone or with others." As I mentioned, the essence of the Japanese tea ceremony is purity, remember the Tsukubai basin, respect, harmony, and tranquility. It is not the rules, it is the manner which is so elevating. So what does this all mean to you and me? I will tell you my own personal story about this tea ceremony. Whenever my dear husband Ram left his body and went to heaven in October of 2023, the grief was so overwhelming that I had a great deal of trouble meditating. I would literally have to just repeatedly set the timer for 5 minutes just to try to help me stay on task and not succumb to the emotional pain. What I learned in this process of healing, and I'm still learning, is that being present in the moment is the doorway to God. It is not a trendy phrase, it is a reality. The present moment is not a measure of time. I have found it to be a portal into heaven. The tea ceremony promotes this very thing, detachment and rest. So this is how I have adapted it to help me live in the present and to be able to remember Ram with joy and to continue on in my own earth life journey. So this is what I do. My adaptation is this. I set aside some time during which I prevent interruptions. I have preliminary prayer, seeking forgiveness, and a cleansing of my soul and my mind. And sometimes I do this after a preliminary shower for the sensation of total cleansing and a new start. This seeking of purity has been symbolized by the Tsukubai basin. I reflect on the spiritual principles that have promoted my own oneness, the 12 principles of oneness, just like the attendee we saw in the miniature bows to the scripture on the wall upon entering. I have boiled the water, then let it slightly cool. Warmed up my teacup and now will sift the matcha. Agitate the matcha, pick out my sweet, and slowly drink the tea. During this time, my sweet, so to speak, is remembrance of so many funny and happy memories with Ram. The ballroom dancing at every dance studio, honky-tonk, every dive bar and dance floor we could find all over the world for the simple joy of dancing. I indulge myself because these are truly sweet to me, and I can do it without sadness in this context because I've allotted time for this joyful remembrance. The matcha tea reminds me of the balance of the seriousness of life as well. I remember no matter my emotions,
I am happy for Ram, my best friend, who had the best day of his life when he left his body and returned to heaven. Each time I repeat this, I get more joy, more understanding of purpose and peace and oneness with others, with Ram, with God. This is how I have adapted the tea ceremony to help me with the effort of dealing with a roller coaster of emotions, whether from grief or stress, that can impair meditation, helping my inner self to meditate for peace and to inspire oneness in me and in my life.
It is from this point that I can move onward to a deeper, restful communion with God. So don't stop at the tea ceremony, move onward and go through the portal at the top of the stairs you have just ascended. I am still growing in this area, and this tea ceremony has been a great help for my inner healing. It has allowed me to spend time with God without so much complaining and whining. I want God to enjoy me too. It's like I have a little tea house inside of me where I meet God and we have a peaceful, happy time. I hope you have found that meaningful. I encourage you to not feel constrained by your religious background, your past, labels, the opinions of others, your own opinions. Remember, none of these things are allowed in the tea house. The entire process addresses my humanity in such a way that I am able to more easily meditate in peace and quiet in my soul. I want divine love to actually be able to abide in me. So that means I want to learn and grow so that there is no room for anything that does not promote peaceful meditation, like the extremely simplified environment of the tea house. Michelangelo once said, when asked about his sculpture David, how he did it, he said he carved away everything that wasn't David. So I want everything removed from my mind that isn't peace, so I can experience the source of peace living inside already. This is a fair amount of information presented here, and you may want to simply rewatch the portions that interest you the most for your personal oneness meditation practice. For further information about our foundation or oneness, you can 1. Purchase my late husband's book, Voice and Wisdom by Ram Tangaturi. It is on Amazon. You can visit our website, onenessmission.world. You can see other videos on this Voice and Wisdom podcast channel. If you have hung around this long, you can now please click subscribe, like, and share to help us spread this message of oneness so we can stop death, damage, destruction, war, and bloodshed, misusing the name of God and religion, and instead promote oneness of humanity with the one God and worshiping in oneness with love. And return for more videos. You can comment below on topics that interest you, and also I would definitely love to hear of methods you find helpful in your meditation and from which religion you have learned them. Thank you for your time and peace, oneness, and you carry on.